Everybody, welcome back. We are back with another season of 10 Minutes With. I'm Mallory Woods, and I have a special guest today, Tahirah Abdul Qadir, who is on Top 10, Top 10 USA, and she does a billion other things. So first, thank you for giving me some time. I know we've been trying to get this together. You've been all over the place. I've been all over the place. Welcome to 10 Minutes With.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, I've been looking forward to this since we talked. We really have talked a year ago. We had a casual conversation at one of the tournaments, and we were talking about some of the things that you've been doing and that you are done, if you have done, and I was just blown away. And I think it's something that we need to have out there. We need to give the roses to people that are absolutely doing things in the community. So first of all, let me get a little background. Where are you at currently? I know you're in school, so why don't you fill us in where you're at in school, what you're studying, and then we're going to go into all the accolades and everything and try to fit that in 10 minutes, which probably is impossible.
Yeah, so I'm going into my junior year at Syracuse University, and I'm studying entrepreneurship and international relations.
Now, how long has it been that you've been in the sports karate game? Because I remember you were a little bitty with your dad, El Java, but how long has it been since you've been competing?
Honestly, my entire life, I grew up in martial arts. My family, we have our own martial arts studio, and I guess I can say I officially started competing when I was about 4.
Man, I mean, you guys are always a staple to see out there. Your mom, your dad, your little brother, and of course your dad, your dad and I've had many dances in the ring together. And it's funny because I've always made sure to, whenever I would compete against your dad, I always wanted to give him my best. There was one time I actually got an injury. I think we were in Richmond at Jeff Dawson's tournament, and something didn't feel right in my knee. And I bowed out and I said, hey, I don't want to proceed with this, but I only want to give you my best. And your dad was like, are you sure you're actually winning the match? I said, no, one, because I don't know what's going on my knee and I want to give you my best and everything. So anytime that we go back and forth, it's always a challenge because your dad at his age is still competing with the young fellas and everything else. What do you really attribute that to? Is that because you have your own school? It's a family thing. What do you attribute to his longevity?
I think it's honestly just his mindset. He wants to continue, and yeah.
It's pretty impressive. And also the fact that you're a student at Syracuse and he works for the university, if I'm correct. Do you see him often on campus?
Not as much. So he actually works for Micron now.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, but even when he worked at the university, I still had my own space. I saw him sometimes on campus, but not as often.
I mean, that the idea that and I have 3 daughters, that they would work in the same space as me would be kind of interesting. But let's get into some of the things now. I'm going to touch on one thing, but of course I don't remember all the accolades. But you were actually invited out by the WWE to do a couple things because of something that they saw. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm a part of this Women in Sports Fellowship with WWE and Girl Up, which is a part of the United Nations campaign. So I do a lot of different projects with them, advocating for gender equity in sports on my college campus. And so they actually just, invited me to one of the events run by WWE.
I mean, this is something, as we are really highlighting more about our daughters and our female athletes. Right at the time of this taping, the Paris Olympics is going on. We saw Simone Biles become the all-time greatest gymnastics performer. And even better, we saw her husband there, who was given time off by the Chicago Bears because they realized that moment is important. Do you see more? Really, what is? I'll redirect the question. How do you feel about that, with the ladies getting the attention they rightfully deserve in the area of sports?
I think that it's really important. I know just recently, one of the Olympic athletes, she made the first ever nursery on
Yes.
for on the Olympic Village, and I think it's really important because it allows athletes to be with their families and be real people while competing on a global stage.
I mean, if you think about it, there's an added pressure because on one hand, to use that example, you're an athlete, you're representing your team, your country, or whatever, however that fits in, but you're also mom and a centerpiece of whatever family dynamic there is there. And to not, I read that article as well, that there was a global, there was a nursery there for nursing athletes, and there was a lady who's actually pregnant that is a fencer and everything else. I mean, it's really great to really see the dawn of the respect given. My daughter is active in soccer, and she's always sitting like, "Hey, the late U.S. ladies are playing tonight. I need you to come watch with me." What is a better? You also started some clubs in high school to, to send towards female athletes. Can you give us some more information on that?
Yeah, so I actually started my own organization. So Flag Empowerment LLC, and Flag stands for Fight Like a Girl.
Hmm.
And so it's all about empowering women, emotionally, physically, and like working on their leadership development, working on just their showing helping them show that they can do anything that they put their minds to. So I do a lot of martial arts programs. I've done leadership development programs talking about mental health, and I blend it all together into a camp.
And that was in high school. That's absolutely super impressive. Of course, all of this comes with you're getting great support at home. Talk to me about the support you get from your family to help encourage you to do things like this.
Yeah, so I think I've always had my own ideas, and I've always been a really creative person. I think my parents have always like supported my goals, whether it's through academics or my own personal goals, or through my sport. And they've just shown me that anything that comes to my mind, I can accomplish it.
And speaking of that, talk to me about being a student athlete. Now, I can say I've got some experience with this. Way back when I was in college and I was competing on the NASCAR circuit, half of my luggage were books that I had to bring with me to study during downtime of competition. First of all, they didn't have weight restriction back there because I know the backpack I know was almost 50 pounds and giant sized books that for some of the subjects I was taking. But can you talk to me about balancing that life between a student and a student athlete?
Yeah, it could be really difficult sometimes. There's definitely a lot of sacrifices that have to be made. I know at school, there's been times where I've had 9 a.m. classes, and then I would wake up at 5 a.m. to do a training session, or I would stay up till 1 a.m. to do some training after a long day of classes and homework. When I go to tournaments, I have to always bring my laptop and my books with me so that so that I can get some assignments done. And of course, being away from the college campus, you still want to be involved in the community, so you don't want to be away as often sometimes. So it could be difficult, but I think that I love what I do. I love my sport, so I'm willing to make those sacrifices for it.
I think that says, a complete, a lot. And yeah, tell me about, let's keep it back to the family dynamic. I was watching your younger brother compete. What is it like to watch his growth as he grows up in the sport and gets better?
Oh yeah, it's so amazing. I always knew that he had a lot of talent, but it's been amazing watching him progress over the years. Now, like I have like a built-in training partner,
That's true.
so I would train with him at home, and he also has a really strong focused mindset. So we're kind of supporting each other, and it's just great to watch him progress.
That's the good thing about having a sibling in the same sport you do. You have a built-in training partner. You can correct, you can improve, and so on and so forth. One other thing I wanted to ask you is that now that you're in college, you mentioned a lot of things about socially. There are people that are not in this world, in the sport karate world, in the martial arts world. When they find out that this is what you do, what do they think about it?
I think a lot of them are really shocked at first, but they think that it's impressive for me to balance what I do in my sports life and my academics.
Well, one other thing as we kind of reach the end of our journey and during this interview is that we were trying to fit this in. We were looking for that perfect space for both you and I had the time. You have an upcoming trip going to England. Can you give us a little bit of information about what you're actually going to be doing there?
Yeah, so I'm going to be studying abroad in London for a semester. So I'm going to be living there, taking classes there, and kind of exploring Europe at the same time.
That sounds absolutely, amazing. And of course, have you reached out with your martial arts contact to find places to train while you're over there?
Yeah, I have. I've been connecting with some martial arts schools over there. I think I'm gonna be going watching my brother compete at the World Championships in Budapest. So I'm definitely gonna be kind of talking with some people around there about places to train.
So when we bring this to a close, where can we find you on socials, and also any other things that you're working on that you would like to shout out so that we can actually give more information to everybody that's watching this?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that I've done recently. So I actually Taco Bell, they flew me out to San Diego for their annual conference, and I got to teach a kickboxing class there. I'm a part of Cracker Jack's Women in Sports campaign called Cracker Jill. So I was featured in a commercial. If you guys want to check that out, and for my Instagram, the handle is Tahirah AQ04, and that's the same for my other social media.
That's perfect. We'll definitely make sure to mention this in the description. And you know what? I'm going to put a bounty out for anybody that can find that commercial. And for Facebook, I'll also link this on any of the socials that's come out. A special shout out to you. If you can find that Cracker Joe commercial, please put it right here. We'd love to see. I'm going to make sure the audience is paying attention. But here, I wish you all the best. It's amazing to watch. Again, this is just scratching the surface. Follow this young lady. There are big things ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.